guys, it is Lynn again with Littlefoot Nursery. I am here with baby Vera. There are so many new babies on my channel, just from the Rose Doll show. Vera is actually a baby that I painted myself. I painted her maybe, and I'll show you guys her details just because I think it's a little hard when I was at the doll show to like really show you guys that much. But I unveiled her at the doll show. She's my contest baby for the beginner category. And I want to go ahead and change her into this outfit. I hope it's not too big. It's a 0 to 3 month size from Disney Store. I think it might be okay. Isn't that cute? It has Stitch on it. So I wanted to go ahead and change her and just chat about the show a little bit and maybe offer some tips for next year. Yeah, I just wanted to kind of give you guys some of my general thoughts and impressions. So I've obviously been talking about the show a little bit and showing you guys what I got, but I thought it'd be helpful just to kind of share with you some thoughts. So a couple things about the show. Well, it was an amazing show. First of all, I just want to start by saying that it felt bigger and better than last year, if that's even possible. And last year I thought it was phenomenal. Like, I was just blown away by all the giveaways they did at all the events. And I mean, they gave away like, I don't know, 5 to 10 babies at every at every event that they did, like between the Paradise Galleries dolls and the reborns. And these were like really nicely done reborns by you know, in some cases prototype artists. And so it was really, really very, very cool. So anyway, there were so many more vendors this year. Like, I remember last year on Saturday, like the second day of the show, I was kind of like done shopping by then. I felt like I didn't, you know, by half day, you know, we were kind of done, and then we sort of moved on. And oh, this is so cute. We went ahead and spent some time at the mall that afternoon. But this year, I felt like I stayed at the show both days, and I was there until it shut down on both days. I did take a couple hour break on Friday because I had to go back to the room and do some work. Sadly, I had to go and do some work. But oh my gosh, how cute. This is a little bit big on her, but oh, it's really adorable. Because she's really more of a newborn. I think this is more of a 0 to 3 month. Oh my gosh, how sweet. How sweet are you, Miss Vera? Hi there, honey. Aw. Oh, she's such a sweetheart. So, anyway, yeah, I am keeping Vera. I haven't really done a good job keeping babies that I paint in my own collection. I think mainly because but this one, I just really love her. I just love this sculpt, the Laila Asleep. So, yeah, so when I had missed out on the auction to win her from Samantha Rose Harker, I was like, well, I'll paint my own. I don't think it'll look as nice, but I'll paint my own. But yeah, I think she did turn out really, really cute. I really love her. So yeah, so I decided to keep her. But yeah, I mean, so other thoughts on the Rose Doll show. You know, all the events were, I mean, very, very similar to last year. I think the one, in terms of areas of improvement, I guess the one thing would be, I felt like for the ice cream party, they had one line instead of two, and so it did move a bit slowly. But you know, just I feel like the complaints are really minor. Like, it was just fabulous. All the events were awesome. It was so great to see people that I had met last year. So great to meet new friends. So neat to, like, you know, meet a lot of people who watch my channel. Like, that was like really humbling and kind of crazy to me, just to be stopped by so many people who were like, oh, hey, I watch your channel. Can I take a picture with you? I was like, oh my gosh. Like, I did, so my friend Cecilia, who left a comment on one of my videos, she was like, Lynn, you're a celebrity. And I was like, I don't feel like a celebrity, but at the doll show, I maybe felt like a small one, perhaps, or felt like a small taste of what that would be like. I was asked for one autograph. The year before, I was also asked for one autograph, interestingly enough. And the year before, I think I was under 1,000 subscribers when I went to the show. But it was neat though. I mean, I don't know, it was a little weird too, because it's like, there are people that I don't know necessarily. I mean, there are obviously people like Marta and Annie, Marta from Little Lake Babies and Annie from Annie and Annie's Nursery, that we follow each other on YouTube, and it was so nice to, finally get to meet them in person. So, and then Diana Reed too. Oh my gosh, Diana's such a sweetheart. It was so nice to meet her as well, and just, yeah, I just had so much fun hanging out with so many of the ladies, and of course I saw Stephanie and Jackie and the gang, and I sat, and Amanda, Mauricio, we all sat at the same table at the baby shower. It was just so much fun seeing everyone. Yeah, of course my friend Lori Duncan, who ended up winning 2 awards at the awards show, which is so awesome for her, for the fantasy category, as well as for like winning the best booth. So anyhow, it was so awesome just to see people. That's like the funnest part of the show for me. It's just really getting to hang out with everyone and hold your babies, carry your babies around like it's the most normal thing in the world. Because at the adult show, it's totally okay and it's expected, and everyone does it. So, so I thought that was really, really cool. And then, yeah, I'm trying to think what else. Oh, yeah, so I entered, it was my first time entering the contest. And, last year, there were only 3 entries in the beginning category. And so this year in the beginner category, I counted them, there were 23 entries. I mean, it was crazy competitive. And then when I walked around, I was like, oh my gosh, some of these babies look quite like really good, like pretty advanced. So I don't know. I mean, I wasn't sure like I don't know what qualifies for beginner, and the people entering their dolls get to choose the category. So there were a few dolls in there that I did feel like looked more advanced. Or, if they've only been painting for like a year, like, kudos to them. That's amazing. But some of them did look like it was interesting, like the beginner category is right next to the intermediate category, and I felt like when I transitioned to the intermediate category, I didn't notice a lot of difference between those 2 categories. I could see with the advanced category, the rooting is really, really good on those dolls, and you start to see more of a difference with the advanced category, because I think that's all the prototype artists entering that. But I think between beginner and intermediate, it was a little bit, harder to distinguish. And it was interesting because last year, like, I think the intermediate category maybe had 10 entries. It was definitely less than last year. I think last year intermediate had a lot. So it's interesting. This year beginner had a lot. I don't know what it will be like for next year. I'm not sure if I'll enter again. It was an interesting experience, but I feel like unless they do a little bit of a better job of, I think the judges should probably, or maybe someone from the Bountiful Baby staff should make a call on which category different babies should be in. And I know that it's such a subjective art form, or maybe they should ask like how long we've been reborning for, or how many dolls have you painted, or I don't know, some more criteria around the category. Because, yeah, the one that won in our category, the beginner category, was like a really, really nicely rooted, I think she was a Maisie that won. And I was like, yeah, that doll did not look like a beginner doll. She was beautifully done, but, and yeah, maybe, I don't know the artist or anything, but yeah, I just kind of thought, oh, I don't know if I hope I don't offend anyone by talking about this topic, but I did see a Facebook a chat going on the on the forum on Facebook about the contests and how maybe there needs to be some more clear guidelines on whether you enter your baby in beginner or intermediate, because I felt like myself and there are a few other ladies I knew who entered who had also been reborning for a year or less. I feel like we should have been in the beginner category, but I don't know if all the dolls, I think there were some people in that category who had maybe been reborning for longer. So just a guess, and I had heard from a couple people that was the case, but anyhow, I'm not gonna stress about it. But you know, it was, you know, it does feel like, well, what's the point of entering the contest if you have like literally almost no chance of winning, if you're up against people who've been doing this for so much longer. So although it's also one of those things that, like, I feel like, you know, I do know a few beginners, or quote unquote beginners, who haven't painted that many dolls, but their work looks like prototype quality work. The Gilded Stork comes to mind. So Rebecca, if you're watching this, like, I think if you were to enter a doll show contest, you should enter the advanced. You're so good. Her babies are so gorgeous. Yeah, so some people I just think should enter, like, you know, even though she hasn't been painting for that long, like, she should be in an advanced category, like, hands down. So I don't know really how the category should be decided. But anyway, I don't mean to talk about the contest so much, but that was one thing for me that was very different. Isn't that cute, the back? So, and since I have Vera with me, I wanted to chat about the contest. So yeah, I mean, if I were to, what's so interesting is the show wasn't even over, and they actually already had the tickets up for sale for next year. And I think that there are a few differences. They're not doing any more combo passes, which is a bummer. So they're just selling each of the events individually. And yeah, I don't want to yet buy my tickets yet, because I still haven't 100% decided. You know, I'm 90% sure I'm going again next year, but there was a retreat for special needs families that my husband and my son ended up going to while Audrey and I were at the doll show, and it sounds like that was a really awesome experience. And unfortunately, it sounds like that week conflicted with Rose, so I'm hoping that they're in different weeks so that we can do both. But I am happy that Rose is actually moving, the Rose Doll Show is moving to late June. I'm not sure how that's going to work with the IDTS folks, and if that will conflict or not. But, you know, it sounds like the two shows might become back to back. So, you know, but that would actually be better, because then I think for sure that wouldn't conflict with the retreat that we want to go to. But I just can't imagine myself missing this event. It was just so amazing. And I had Audrey and my mom with me. My mom babysat Audrey while I was in the classes for that Wednesday and Thursday. And then Audrey and my mom came to the ice cream party, but neither of them did the baby shower or banquet, just mainly because the cost was kind of high. I think I might allow Audrey to come to the baby shower next year. And she did rosebuds again this year, as you guys probably saw in the videos. It was very similar to last year, so we might not do it for a third year in a row, just because the experience is so similar. And she had a great time. But yeah, I think that given that we've already done it 2 years in a row, and she has 2 dolls now from the rosebuds class, we might skip it for next year. And they've also increased the price on it too. So, but we loved it. I mean, if you guys haven't done the rosebuds class, I highly recommend it. It's awesome. And it's such, like, it's basically feels like your birthday and Christmas wrapped into one. So that's rosebuds. And oh, my silicone painting class was amazing. It was really, really cool. Like, painting silicone is so different than painting vinyl reborns. And I think it's difficult because there's so many, it's a little bit, Susan did say it is a little bit more like air dry painting. So I don't know. I think my little Ricky actually turned out really cute. And it's interesting because it doesn't take as many layers as with reborning. So that part is cool. The part I didn't like the most was just standing there with the heat gun, drying every single layer. But I did hear that you can just let it sit for maybe a couple hours, 2 or 3 hours, and then that'll just cure it naturally. So that actually is not so bad. Like, you just do a layer and then leave it and then come back, and that way you don't have to worry about doing the heat gun. So that's actually good to know. But yeah, I just feel like the silicone blankets are so expensive. I would be nervous about ruining one, and it's not like ruining a $50 or $100 vinyl kit. It's like the full body silicone blanks are often like $2,000 or even $3,000 in some cases, and so it's just like very nerve-wracking if you ruin it. Oh, sorry, I'm getting kind of tired now. Trying to think what else. You know, it's good to book the, yeah, it's important to book the hotel and everything early. Um, and oh, also with Susan's class, if you guys are interested in Susan's silicone painting class, you should probably find her on Facebook and message her now. I know it sounds crazy, but basically her class, by the time they really put it on the Rose website, she might have like one spot left and it's almost all sold, because she basically secures her class for the following year, because people from the previous year end up saying to her, hey, I'd like to take your class. So what happened was last year she messaged me asking if I wanted a spot in her class, and I was like, yes, I do. And I wasn't sure if was going to take silicone painting or if I was going to do rooting or hair painting. So I decided to, yeah, I would grab the spot because her class sells out so quickly. So that's really important. I do think it's good to think about, for the Rose Doll Show, research the artists and the vendors that are going to be there and make a plan for who you want to visit, and then try to think about who might be more popular and who you might need to visit a little bit earlier. And also if you see a baby that you just fall in love with, you might just need to go ahead and just buy it and grab it, because if you come back around, it might be gone. So things happen very quickly at the show. Like I remember going around the booths, and there was a Sunny by Joanna K, Reborn, and that one was gone. It's the first baby gone from one of the vendors. And so I think similarly for the vendors, you know, I think thinking about what kits are popular, like there were a few Tinks, I think there were a couple Sunnies. I even saw Maisie, which is amazing. So, and I saw Liam. I know somebody who adopted a Liam. But yeah, it's really important to make a plan. Like for me, I knew that Jenny would have 2 Ellas at the show, and she and I have been messaging before the show, and so I made a beeline straight for her booth, even though she told me to run to Susan's first. But I figured I already have several of Susan's bags, so my priority was really to make sure that that Asian Ella didn't get sold before I got a chance. And I also had all this anxiety because I didn't know if Jenny was going to do an auction or a fixed price. And I was so thankful that she quoted me a price and I was able to just buy her, because it would have been very hard to budget for the show and know what what money I had that I could spend with other vendors. Because if you could imagine a scenario where if I was bidding on Ella, and then I was holding off on buying all these dolls from other vendors, and then at the end of the show I realized I didn't win the auction for Ella, that would really be a bummer, and because then I would have missed out on all the other dolls at the show. So I definitely think that for the vendors, you know, I strongly encourage all the vendors to just do a fixed price, because there's so many vendors there at the show, and people need to know how to budget and prioritize their funds, and that's important. So I remember last year at the show, one of the vendors did a like a private offer kind of situation for one of her dolls, and she got one offer and then that person backed out. So so that was a bummer situation too. So I guess like non-paying bidders or people backing out, it doesn't just happen on eBay, but it also can happen at a doll show. So it's just better for both the vendor and the buyer and the seller to just do a fixed price, and then, you know, buyer pays right away, gets the baby, and then you know that that doll is also sold, rather than having a buyer back out. So now that I have her here, I want to add like more blushing now. Seeing her, I kind of want to like add more to her, but oh well. I'm trying to think what other tips I have, or just other thoughts about the show. Yeah, it was just so fun to see all the ladies. It was so nice to meet Diana. And some of you guys have already been talking about maybe coming out next year, and that would be so awesome, because you guys, this is really, like, I think it's the best doll show in the world. Like, I didn't go to the IDTS show, but a few of the ladies were telling me about it, and they were a bit disappointed, and I for lack of a better word, and I don't want to like go into specifics because I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. I know that the organizers work really hard to organize that show, and I know a lot of people went and had an awesome time, but there are some that, you know, told me that the Rose one was a bigger and better run show, and so it's just very organized, and just more fun. And so I feel like the rose show is really, like, if you can only pick one, I think that's a great one to try to make it out to. One of these years I might try to do IDTS and like maybe, I don't know, I'm just kind of curious about it, and maybe just you know, attach it onto a Disney World trip or something like that, and then that way it makes it more worth it. So but I wouldn't fly all the way out just for that, I don't think. So anyway, for whatever it's worth. But yeah, the Rose show, Doll Show is just amazing. People fly from all over the world to attend. There were so many vendors this year. I think it's going to be real exciting. A lot of the vendors have already booked their tables or booths for next year. So it's just something you don't want to miss. If you're like into this, if you love this hobby, and I have to say, I was in a bit of a collecting slump, as you guys saw from my videos, before going to the show. And even like on the day we left for the show, I was excited, but I was also like, oh, I don't know. Like I don't know if I'm feeling as passionate about my hobby. And I was just in a little bit of a collecting slump. But being there and being around all the beautiful art, meeting the other collectors, I mean, I'm definitely excited again about the hobby. I think that's safe to say. So I'm back and making a lot of videos. All right, guys. Well, I am totally tired. I'll probably talk about the Rose Doll Show some more another time, but I just wanted to get some thoughts out, and thank you guys so much for watching. And oh, let me show you guys a few details on Vera. Okay, so here's Vera up close. Here's her little face. I just love this sculpt. You can see her eyelashes. And it's so hard to see the details at the show. So here's her painted hair. I'm going to show you guys the side. And I love how her hair turned out. And then here's her arm. Oops, sorry. A little hard to see. Here's her little hand. Her other arm and her other little hand. Here are her legs. Alright guys, well thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe if you're new, and I will see you on the next video. Bye!